Star Wars Galaxies versus Lord of the Rings Online. Coming up, coming at you on Weird Gaming Adventure. You know, whenever I make a Lord of the Rings Online videos, I get all the Star Wars Galaxies followers that have followed my channel and be like, no, you will make me some Star Wars Galaxies videos right now, you Nuna-loving noob. And then whenever I make Star Wars Galaxies videos, the Lord of the Rings Online followers are always like, excuse me, kind sir, I would really appreciate it if you would make me some more LOTRO videos so I can consume them post haste. Thank you, my friend. Because the Lord of the Rings Online fans are, they're a kinder lot and British, apparently. But I got something for both of you today. We're going to discuss Star Wars Galaxies and Lord of the Rings Online. We're going to compare and see which one was better in their heyday and which one is better in 2022 or 2023, whenever you watch the video. Okay, so Star Wars Galaxies and Lord of the Rings Online were two of the best MMORPGs of all time. They're two of the most popular IPs of all time. But really, that's where the comparison ends. So in order to break down and for me to give my decision as to which is the better game then and now, we're going to basically say what each game is or was or kind of still is. You'll get the idea. And then we're going to decide which is better. Lord of the Rings Online. Set in Tolkien's Middle-earth, taking place during a time period of The Lord of the Rings, was originally developed by Turbine, and the game launched in 2007 as Lord of the Rings Online: Shadows of Angmar. Players could create characters of 4 races and 7 classes and adventure throughout the region of Erendor. And that eventually changed as it progressed. You got more characters, you got more classes. In November of 2008, Mines of Moria expansion was released, adding the region of Moria and 2 new playable classes. It was followed by the Siege of Mirkwood in December of 2009, and then in 2010, the game underwent a shift from its original subscription-based payment model to being free-to-play. The game saw continued development alternating between paid expansions and free updates, which added new content in the regions of Isengard, Rohan, and Gondor. In late 2016, it was announced that the publishing of the game would transfer to Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment, then to Daybreak Game Company, with the development being taken over by Standing Stone Games. Now, Standing Stone Games was made up of former Turbine staff members. The game development continued, and in 2017, the Mordor expansion was released, bringing 2 main storylines to a close. The story then shifted to showing how various inhabitants of Middle-earth deal with the downfall of Sauron, with Minas Morgul expansion in 2019 and the Fate of Gundabad expansion in 2021. Earlier this year, in 2022, LOTRO shifted further into a free-to-play model by making all expansions up to Gundabad available for free at that time. Lord of the Rings Online has done a masterful job adhering to the lore that was penned by Tolkien. The gameplay is typical of many of the MMORPGs of its time. Combat is exactly what you'd expect it to be. The terms are slightly different, but the same processes apply. You have morale, which is the equivalent to health in other games. You have power, which is the equivalent to mana in other games. Both can be raised or reduced by food and buffs, or lowered by debuffs. Some classes have build-ups that trigger more advanced abilities. Now, the crafting system in LOTRO allows each character to master up to 3 professions, which are separated into gathering of raw materials and actual crafting of usable items. Mines of Moria added legendary items, which gain experience points and levels amongst the player character. Gondor introduced Essence gear, allowing players to customize their armor as they please. There's all sorts of currencies. Gold becomes less meaningful as you progress, while things like essences, spoken about above, become more valuable. Your character becomes more powerful by performing certain tasks. These tasks encourage you to explore the game. LOTRO is mostly linear. It's storyline and quest based. The story guides you and it helps you to progress. PvP, it's not a thing. Middle-earth Enterprises was very specific that LOTRO was not allowed to have open-world PvP. Instead, there's an out-of-game function called Monster Play, or PvMP. You probably guessed it. Rather than fighting man or elf, you pretty much kick the crap out of cave trolls or other baddies. This is an instance-based dungeon game. Fellowships group together and perform fellowship maneuver systems for special group moves. As you might imagine from a fellowship game, it promotes grouping. The game doesn't pit you against other guilds or factions. You work together. However, it's also fulfilling if you're a ranger type and like to quest alone and explore the incredible world of Middle-earth. Now let's talk about Star Wars Galaxies. Star Wars Galaxies, or SWG, was released in June 26 in 2003 by Sony Online Entertainment. It spawned 3 expansions through 2005, Jump to Lightspeed, Rage of the Wookiees, and Trial of Obi-Wan. SWG overhauled on 3 separate occasions. Each change brought in different game mechanics. Some were great improvements, but most were met with poor fanfare. There was the original combat era, the combat upgrade era, and the NGE era. Star Wars Galaxies was a true sandbox game. The profession system was initially fully customizable. You would gain experience by killing enemies in the world. If you were killing enemies with a pistol, you gained pistol experience. If you were killing an enemy with a one-handed sword, you would get one-hand sword experience, etc. As you master boxes of weapons experience, you eventually open up specialty professions that are associated with that weapon. With each experience box that you fill up and train, you use skill points. Every player has a set number of skill points, and you become whatever type of profession or hybrid profession that your skill total will allow you to be. The combat upgrade era kept the profession system but made combat less spammy. The NGE era introduced a whole new combat system and completely overhauled the profession system. It gave you more typical set profession system. The NGE certainly held your hand a whole lot more. It gave you a more linear questing system. You had what was known as the legacy quests. They took you through all of the major aspects of the game and pretty much told you how to play. With the NGE, ground combat was changed to real-time and similar to first-person shooter style. SWG offered a variety of playing styles. Most noticeably, the first expansion called Jump to Lightspeed brought space combat into play. You could quest in space and also battle other players in your custom ships. This was unprecedented and, to my knowledge, only tried to a lesser extent by some ocean combat system in later MMOs. Characters can erect, own, and decorate a variety of buildings including houses, cantinas, theaters, hospitals, guild halls, and city halls. These buildings, when grouped, can be organized into cities. Player-run virtual economy was great in Star Wars Galaxies. Players were responsible for creating many in-game items including blasters, starships, clothing, armor, food, housing, furniture, and even a wide variety of droids. Dynamic resource spawns on planets needed for complex crafting was incredible. SWG was also known for its deep PvP experience. Open world PvP was a thing. Location-based PvP was a thing. Event-based PvP was a thing. Player bounties were a thing. On December 15th of 2011, Star Wars Galaxies closed. The servers were shut down. So, which game was better? in its heyday. To me, it was Star Wars Galaxies. No other game promoted as much of unity as Star Wars Galaxies did. It promoted people grouping together. You simply had to. You had no choice. It created unbreakable bonds in and out of the game. The ability to PvP, the ability to vary your gameplay style by heading into space and questing, or PvP there, it truly puts Star Wars Galaxies over the top. But there are aspects that truly make LOTRO a better game too, and it was very close. Let me show you how close. Graphics, LOTRO wins. Story, Lord of the Rings Online story is amazing, right? LOTRO wins. Combat. If SWG had stayed consistent, it would be SWG, but LOTRO wins by offering a consistent and well-made combat system. Exploration. You can't beat Tolkien's world, and LOTRO portrays it well. LOTRO wins. PvP. Star Wars Galaxies is the best PvP MMO ever. Star Wars Galaxies wins. Grouping. Star Wars Galaxies takes the cake. Crafting. No MMO can touch Star Wars Galaxies' crafting system. Environment. LOTRO created better worlds. In Star Wars Galaxies, most of the map was built and operated by the players, so it's hard to beat a professionally curated city. LOTRO wins. Music. LOTRO wins easy. Every zone has a beautiful melody. Players can make their own music with instruments. Community. While the Star Wars Galaxies community was great in the sense that it made you work together, nothing beats the Lord of the Rings Online community. People are just so nice and incredible to one another. Quests. Star Wars Galaxies wins. The sandbox element puts SWG over the top. LOTRO's no slouch though. Raids. It's SWG. Economy. SWG by a mile. Star Wars Galaxies wins the economy. LOTRO's economy can be confusing. Now, Star Wars Galaxies had a player-run economy that will unlikely never be matched by another MMO. Like I said, both were great and it was close. I can't fault anyone for choosing LOTRO, but in its heyday, Star Wars Galaxies was my favorite MMORPG. But what about today? What about tomorrow? While Star Wars Galaxies was officially shut down, it still has a following today through the emulator world. SWG EMU has a huge backing. The Finalizer server has thousands of players online pretty much at all times of the day. There are several different servers that handle each era of the game. For instance, Finalizer, as I mentioned, specializes in the original part of the game. Restoration 3 handles the combat upgrade, whereas Legends server handles the new gaming experience. The problem is, as we mentioned, they are just emulator servers. It's not the real server. They could go away at any time. Now, I'm not saying they will. All of these servers have shown a history of longevity through one aspect or another. But LOTRO has an active game, and it being run through EG7, they're a big company. Standing Stone Games, however, has a vested interest in keeping the game active, and they've been doing a wonderful job. They've been putting out content all of the time. They've been upgrading the game little by little since 2007, and there's no signs of them slowing down. As of right now, if it was my choice, and it is, I'm choosing Lord of the Rings Online as my game to follow in 2022 or 2023. That doesn't mean, again, that Star Wars Galaxies emulators or any of those type of servers are not worth playing. At the end of the day, play both. Try both. See what you like and make your own decision. I'm just here to guide you, to push you over a little bit, and maybe encourage you to play one thing or another. But in this case, both. Play both. I am Joshua with Weird Gaming Adventure. We truly appreciate you viewing our videos. We love you guys in a weird way, and that's what this world needs. We need weird love. We need love and not being afraid of being weird. If you like the video, like the video. If you liked it a lot, maybe consider subscribing. It makes me feel really, really good. We have a great community. So again, I'm Joshua with Weird Gaming Adventure, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And we love you in a weird way.